Hello, my name's Hannah and I'm a physiotherapist at Core Health Physiotherapy and Pilates, and today I'm going to talk to you about how to return to run safely. So this can be if you're just starting out running or if you're just been injured and you need to return back to running. So there's a few things we need to go through before you start getting back to running. So one of the first things we're going to do is to determine what your run tolerance is. So if you're running pre-injury, how many Ks you're doing a week or each session, to determine where our starting point is. Determining your run tolerance involves working out how far you can run without having any increase in your symptoms. So this might be if you can run 2Ks and have no, say, Achilles pain or knee pain. If it comes on at the 2K mark, that's where your run tolerance is. So to start off, you don't want to do any more than that distance. So this is what's going to sort of form the basis of the training program. And it will depend on what injury you have, or if you're not injured, where your baseline is. So there's a few things to consider when increasing the load when you return to run. So each week you only want to increase the load by 10%. If you increase more than 10%, then you have a higher chance of injury. We also want to monitor how much volume you're doing, and you don't want to increase the intensity until you've increased your volume. So you might be doing, say, 5Ks a week, but then we'll keep working up till you get to 7 or 8 before you start increasing the intensity of how hard you're working. Also, it's important to plan some recovery time into your training. So 1 week you might do a little bit less running compared to the others, just give your body a bit more time to recover, but you're still working during that week as well. Also, it's important to change only one variable at a time. So that might be the distance or the time. You don't want to be going from flat to incline and increasing your time or distance all at the same time. You just want to change one variable and then see how you go. And if that's fine, then you can start increasing others. You also want to allow for longer recovery time after a challenging session. So you might do one longer run during the week, but then after that you need to allow time to recover, so you might do a shorter run after. And you also want to consider some strength and flexibility training, which will help complement your running and make sure that you've got the right muscle activation happening when you run. So another thing to consider is monitoring the return to running. So this is particularly important for after injury. So say if you have an Achilles issue, and you go back to running, when you do your run, it's okay to feel about that 4 or 5 out of 10 pain, but as long as those symptoms resolve within 24 hours. If you're getting higher than 4 to 5 out of 10, then it means you're doing a little bit too much. So the next session you need to back down. Also, something else to consider is you don't want to increase your load, so the duration of your running or the intensity too much, if your symptoms last for more than 24 hours. Over time, you should notice a gradual reduction of symptoms over sort of a 4 to 6 week period, so that you're still maintaining your running and even increasing it, but symptoms should be overall reducing. So now I'll just go through this example of a running program. So as you can see, level 1 just starts with a 100-metre walk and a 100-metre jog. So you're just alternating between the two, and it will work out to be about 2 kilometres total. Then what we'll do, the next level, so this might be the second week, you go from instead of doing 100-metre jog, you go to 200-metre jog. So you're still going to do the same amount total, so you're still doing 2 kilometres, but there's more jogging compared to walking. And then we're going to keep doing this for another week, and then from there, once we're doing 2 kilometres continuous running, so no walking in between, then we can start increasing that distance. So we can work up on the distance, and that will be the variable that we're changing. And then once you get to that point, you can play around with intensity. So doing more interval trainings, you might do some sprints in between. So this example is good for someone who's just new to running and just starting out. But whereas if you have someone who's a marathon runner who has injured their Achilles, you're going to find that this sort of program is going to be a little bit too easy for them. So you need to determine what their baseline is. So hopefully you've learned a few things about how to increase your running without getting injured, and what are the main things to look for when you're increasing your running load. I'm going to do a couple more videos to show you some simple exercises to get the right muscles activating when you run. If you want some more information, you can book in an assessment and we can have a look to plan a program for you and assess any injuries you may have so we can make a specific plan for you and help you get back to your running.